This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 16th of May in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Opposition leader Aubrey Norton led a protest outside the office of the president this morning, demanding justice for 11-year-old Adriana, who was found dead 3 weeks ago in a pool at the Doubleday Hotel at Tushin, one day after she was reported missing. The child is still to be laid to rest, as her family also demands justice and are hoping for a second post-mortem examination. The first autopsy, conducted by 3 independent foreign pathologists, concluded that the child died by drowning. However, family members maintained that the pool was searched several times after the child went missing, and she was never found there until the following day as protests intensified outside the hotel. This morning, the opposition leader lashed out at the police and the president over the handling of the investigations into the death of the child. Mr. Norton said all avenues should be exhausted in pursuit of justice.
First of all, the police from the inception did not show an interest in first finding the child, and then they clearly proceeded to cover up. If Mandal could say to people that they have video evidence of the child leaving the hotel, that says to me it was a deliberate lie. Why would he lie? He lied because his superiors told him to lie. So the first thing to me, it's a cover-up. The second thing, the president promised to leave no stone unturned, and we put a stone in his way. The stone we put is calling the FBI, calling a reputable international investigative team.
The government has secured the services of a Canadian homicide expert to assist local police with the investigation into the death of Adriana Young. The expert is already in the country and on the ground, meeting with the investigators. The opposition leader said the entire investigation was tainted by the police.
Is that the police, more than a week after, had not taken one statement with serious police force that is looking at a crime, a crime scene, and a crime it would have occurred, and you decided that you are not going to interview anybody.
Mr. Norton also said there must be sustained pressure on the police and the government to get it right with the investigation into the child's death. Earlier this week, President Irfan Ali has said he has kept his word in bringing in a foreign expert to join the probe and for the government to allow foreign pathologists to conduct the post-mortem examination. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch. Even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care cash grant and the Uniform and School Supplies grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's been given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care cash grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
How do I collect the grant?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tusho.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the date?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced, but this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. In service to you, because we care.
The Guyana Defense Force has increased its operational posture and will continue with its routine patrol along the Guyana-Venezuela border in the Cayuny River. Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier Omar Khan has said. Guyanese soldiers have come under fire from the Venezuelan side of the border in recent months, with the most recent incidents taking place on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. At a press conference yesterday afternoon, the Chief of Defense Staff said the security posture in the bordering region will be strengthened to protect residents, troops, and the country's territory.
The police addresses those incidents. We've had no reason to conduct frequent searches or stoppage. The current situation now warrants us to do that. And we will identify how and when we will do that.
Brigadier Khan said Guyanese and Venezuelans in the border villages are living and coexisting well. However, he said there has been no immediate security threat, except from the recent occurrences. The brigadier said the most recent incidents occurred in an isolated area, where there are no residents. He said he was also a few kilometers away when the first incident took place on Tuesday night.
After the first incident on Tuesday, a lot of work had been done. Investigating, assessing, etc. It's not a shooting incident like what you would have on a normal street in your country. This is in another territory. So we have to assess before we could comment on it. And we want to ensure that you have the accurate information.
Moving forward, the Chief of Defense Staff said works are already in progress to ensure that ranks are more equipped to respond to any situation.
We share the border with Venezuela. We expect Venezuela not to violate our sovereignty, but we are prepared for any eventuality. And that's why we continue to patrol the entire border.
As it relates to the planned Venezuelan elections for a governor of Guyana's Essequibo region, Brigadier Khan said any Guyanese or Venezuelan on Guyanese territory found participating in the elections will be harshly dealt with. The government of Guyana on Thursday registered its protest with Venezuela over the latest attack on Guyanese soldiers by gunmen on the Venezuelan side of the border in the Cayuny River. The GDF reported that none of its soldiers suffered any injuries. The GDF soldiers were conducting routine patrols between Ettering Bank and Macapa in the Cayuny River when they came under fire. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said it has communicated Guyana's condemnation on the latest attack to Caracas and has urged the Venezuelan government to investigate the incident and prosecute those responsible for the attacks. The Chief of Defense Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Brigadier Omar Khan, has warned that Venezuelans living in Guyana will be arrested and deported if they participate in the controversial May 25 planned elections by Venezuela to elect a governor of Guyana's Essequibo region. There are no preparations taking place in Essequibo for any such elections, and the government of Guyana will be hosting a national independence anniversary event in Essequibo. Brigadier Khan still warned on Thursday that there will be consequences for both Guyanese and Venezuelans living in Guyana who get involved in the Venezuelan elections.
That any Guyanese should participate in such an election, there will be implications for that person. This is almost like a passive coup because you're voting in a foreign government to have or cede territory. So that would be a serious offense. Any Guyanese participating in such election will be arrested and there will be implications. Secondly, any Venezuelans living in Guyana participate in such election will be arrested and deported.
Brigadier Khan said the state's position was made clear during his recent visits to communities along the border with Venezuela. He said it would amount to a passive coup for Guyanese and Venezuelans living in Guyana to take part in the illegal elections for Guyanese territory.
Anyone, any information, anyone participating in such election, let us know. We don't want that person among us. We don't ever want that.
The International Court of Justice in its latest ruling ordered Venezuela to refrain from its planned election for a governor for the Essequibo. But Venezuela said it will not bow to international pressure, judicial blackmail, or a foreign court to turn away from its beliefs and convictions. Instead of abiding with the ruling of the court, Caracas said it wants Guyana to return to the negotiation table. Guyana has blanked any such move. The Maritime Administration Department is among a number of agencies that have responded to an oil spill from a bulk carrier vessel, which is docked at the Demerara Sugar Terminal wharf. The incident occurred on Thursday afternoon. The vessel was at the Rhymeville port to load rice when the spill occurred, and it was reported. A coordinated response by teams from MARAD, the Civil Defense Commission, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Guyana Defense Forces Coast Guard was immediately mobilized, and mitigating efforts were underway to stop the leak and contain the spill. In addition, MARAD said an active investigation into the cause of the incident is ongoing. The oil spill comes as lawmakers were preparing to debate the Oil Pollution Prevention Preparedness Response and Responsibility Bill 2025. The proposed legislation lays out a legal framework designed to prevent oil spills through mandatory safety protocols, the strengthening of national preparedness, to ensure timely, effective emergency response, and to also enforce accountability among the operators, offer redress to affected citizens and communities. The bill also provides for preventative and restorative compensatory measures in the event of oil spill incidents within the national territory.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Meadows, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Carlvin Burnett, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D, and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m. Showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is the civic duty and legal responsibility of all Guyanese who meet the eligibility criteria to apply for registration. By doing so, you would be ensuring that you are issued a national identification card and be included in the official list of electors for future elections, providing you meet all eligibility criteria. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58 inch, 65 inch, 70 inch, 75 inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give a warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks for Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
Well, the Chief of Defense Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Brigadier Omar Khan, could not say when the report into the deadly December 2023 helicopter crash that killed members of the military will be released. The GDF conducted its own investigations in addition to the investigations that were carried out by the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority. Both reports have been completed, but their findings remain closely guarded. Brigadier Khan noted that the GDF was just a stakeholder in the investigations and that a substantive investigation was carried out by the Ministry of Public Works through the Civil Aviation Authority. He said the GDF had established a board of inquiry into the deadly incident, but those findings would only be made public when the substantive report is released.
So the board of inquiry is meant to have that report when it's completed. We did what we had to do, but there's a part in which we have to have from the official report to take into consideration to complete our board of inquiry. All the recommendations, all the findings of our internal investigation have been acted upon.
Brigadier Khan made it clear that he is unaware of the contents of the final report and is still awaiting to see it like everyone else. In January, the government reported that a draft report was awaiting the comments from several stakeholders, and those stakeholders include the Guyana Defense Force, the National Transportation Safety Board of the U.S., Bell Helicopters, and the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority. In February, the Minister of Public Works promised that the report will be publicly addressed by March, but there has been no official word since then. On the 6th of December 2023, a Bell 412 helicopter operated by the Guyana Defense Force crashed in western Guyana, claiming the lives of 5 of the 7 people on board. The 2 survivors have since returned to active duty in the GDF. The helicopter was engaged in border operations at the time of the crash. The incident occurred about 30 miles east of Arao, near the Venezuelan border. Vice President Bara Jagdeo contends that the opposition has not been completely locked out of power. However, he believes power sharing at the level of the executive requires trust. Mr. Jagdeo addressed the issue of shared governance at his Thursday press conference in response to a recent column written by former Auditor General Anand Gulsaran on the issue of power sharing. The Vice President said shared governance at the level of the executive requires trust, and in the absence of that trust, such an arrangement can stagnate the development of the country due to gridlock and major disagreements on important matters.
Trust building is important for any system of shared governance to work, particularly at the level of the executive. In the absence of trust, you're going to there'll be no movement forward. You just grind to a halt, because just imagine a cabinet that can't agree on basic policies.
In the column published in the Stabrook News recently, Mr. Gulsaran submitted that the winner-takes-all system, which has been in place in Guyana since independence and perhaps earlier, has prevented the country from achieving its full potential, despite its vast natural resources, including those relating to oil and gas. But Mr. Jagdeo said there is power sharing at the level of the legislative. He said it was under his presidency that constitutional changes were made to facilitate shared governance at the parliamentary level. Those changes, he said, paved the way for the establishment of key commissions.
We put in place in the Constitution several features that shared power at the level of the legislature, which vastly differentiates us from the Westminster model practiced around the world, which is the winner-takes-all model. So if you explore what these are, you would see that the 5 rights commissions were put in place, the procurement commission. For you to sit on any of these, you have to have 2/3 support from the National Assembly. No political party has 2/3 of the votes in the National Assembly, so it required collaboration to put together these commissions.
And in support of his position, Mr. Jagdeo also pointed to the establishment of 4 service commissions and the Parliamentary Management Committee and the arrangements in place for the appointment of a Chancellor and the Chief Justice, which requires approval or the involvement of the Leader of the Opposition.
We put in place, apart from the Service Commission, 4 sectoral committees that would review government's policies in every area, in social services, economic services, foreign affairs, and natural resources. And we decided to rotate the chair of these sectoral committees in the Parliament, unlike even in the US system, where the majority group in the Parliament, the majority in the Congress in the United States would chair all the committees. We rotate the chairmanship. Nobody speaks of this.
Vice President Jagdeo said there are also other conditions that must be met by the main party in the opposition, the PNC reform, for the ruling PPP to consider shared governance. He said the PNC must move away from the philosophy that it can bully the PPP Civic into some form of executive power sharing. The leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, today demanded that the police officer who shot and killed 32-year-old Keon Fajane during the recent protests in Linden be charged with murder. Fajane was on his way home when he was shot and killed as other residents protested the police killing of another Lindener, Ronaldo Peters. While a police sergeant has since been charged and remanded for the murder of Peters, the family of Keon Fajane is still holding out for justice. At a press conference today, the AFC leader Nigel Hughes said the failure of the police to charge one of its own with the murder of Fajane is unacceptable.
We repeat our demand that the person responsible for murdering Mr. Fajane be charged forthwith. The fact that they've charged one police officer with the first killing is not enough.
Hughes said in addition to video evidence, the Guyana police force was provided with a detailed statement by eyewitnesses, who also identified the police officer who shot Fajane.
Because we know the evidence exists and the evidence has been given to the Guyana police force. I was present when the statement was taken by the Office of Professional Responsibility. The difficulty with not charging him is it continues to result in the erosion of the public confidence in the Guyana police force.
Earlier this week, the crime chief Wendell Blanham told reporters that the investigation into the death of Keon Fajane was conducted by the Office of Professional Responsibility in collaboration with the Regional Security System and not the force's Criminal Investigations Department. The probe is ongoing. Leaders of the LGBT community in Guyana have expressed hope that Pope Leo will continue the path initiated by the late Pope Francis, one of openness, dialogue, and recognition of LGBT people and their families. Pope Francis, during his tenure, welcomed LGBT people, leading to increased visibility and acceptance of LGBT families within and beyond Catholic institutions. In observing the International Day of Families, which was celebrated under the theme Family-Oriented Policies for Social Development, the Managing Director of SASAT Guyana, Joel Simpson, reflected on the work of Pope Francis in supporting the LGBT community. In early 2023, Pope Francis, in a historic move, called the criminalization of sexual and gender minorities unjust. At the time, he emphasized that being homosexual is not a crime, but rather is a human condition. At the time of Pope Francis' statement on decriminalization, Bishop Francis Allen, head of the Roman Catholic Diocese in Guyana, responded positively, saying that the legislature should not label consensual same-sex intimacy as a crime. Guyana is one of only 65 jurisdictions worldwide that continue to criminalize private consensual same-sex sexual activity. Guyana remains the only country in South America and among the minority in the Caribbean region criminalizing consensual intimacy between adults, despite a 2022 polling that demonstrated the majority of people in Guyana support eliminating the outdated law. Savannah Williams, co-chairperson of Sexualities, Women and Genders, said the new pope has a history of advocating for marginalized communities in his more than 20 years as a religious leader in Peru. She said she's hopeful that he will continue the work started by Pope Francis. Celebrated on the 15th of May, International Day of Families is an annual United Nations observance. The day reflects the importance the international community attaches to families and provides an opportunity to raise awareness on issues related to families.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for days, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of my drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guy Oil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Gaya's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Gaya Oil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Across the region tonight, the world's largest poultry exporter, Brazil, has confirmed its first outbreak of bird flu on a commercial farm. The confirmation came today, triggering a ban on shipments to China and raising the prospect of restrictions from other trade partners. Brazil exported $10 billion worth of chicken in 2024, accounting for about 35% of global trade. Much of that came from two meat processors which shipped to about 150 countries. China, Japan, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, and the United Arab Emirates are among the main destinations for Brazil's chicken exports. Brazil's Agriculture Minister Carlos Favaro said on Friday that China had banned poultry imports from the country for 60 days, but that Brazilian chicken in transit to other countries would not face problems. In Haiti, the country's largest hydroelectric power plant has seen its output reduced to zero due to a break-in at its facilities, the state power company EDH has announced. The power company said output had stopped since Tuesday because of acts of invasion at the Pellegre plant, which is located about 7 miles from the central town of Mirabelais, where locals have been protesting the lack of state action after attacks by armed criminal gangs. The power company said it's a hateful act that is plunging areas still receiving its power supplies into a complete blackout. The local media in Haiti reported earlier in the week that frustrated citizens took over the power plant in protest over criminal gangs' control, and they demanded that the plant be shut down. Pellegre provides the bulk of the power company's hydroelectric power, Haiti's largest source of electricity after fossil fuels. And finally, at this time, international news. The U.S. largest retailer Walmart is preparing to raise prices in the U.S. as soon as this month, as its own costs increase as a result of the new tariffs on imports imposed by President Donald Trump. The plans by the world's largest retailer come as White House announcements in recent weeks have resulted in most goods from around the world facing new import taxes of at least 10%, with products from China facing higher duties of at least 30%. Reporting to investors on the firm's performance on Thursday, the chief executive of Walmart, Doug McMillon, said he was grateful that the Trump administration had for now suspended more plans for aggressive levies. But he said that his company was still likely to raise prices to cover the new costs. More than 2/3 of what Walmart sells in the U.S. is made, assembled, or grown in China, the company said. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable night.